A woman stands at the back of a packed saloon. The men at the front table are shouting her down. She raises her voice again anyway. One of them slams his glass on the wood and walks toward her. Subscribe for real Western stories. Comment where you're watching from. Her name is Alma Pruitt. She works the station house in Ridgeway, a supply stop 20 miles south of the Wyoming rails. The job came with her late husband's debts. She sorts freight logs, tracks deliveries, signs off on invoices. The railroad men pass through every few weeks. The ranchers come in to collect shipments. She knows who orders what and when it arrives. She keeps her head down. She does not interrupt. She does not complain. Ridgeway is small, fewer than 200 people. No law closer than a day's ride. The town runs on trust and routine. Orders come in. Goods go out. The general store, the livery, the boarding house, and the saloon make up the center. The rest is scattered homesteads and grazing land. The railroad built the station 5 years back. They'd promised it would grow the town. It did not. But the tracks still run. The trains still stop. Alma has been working the station for 14 months. It starts with a shipment discrepancy. A freight log arrives from the depot in Laramie. It lists 40 crates of blasting powder. The shipment is marked for a mining concern 2 valleys over. Alma knows the mine. It closed last spring. She checks the invoices again. The order was placed 3 weeks ago under the name of a foreman who died in a collapse the year before. She takes the log to Owen Ferris, the station master. He glances at it and sets it aside. Paperwork gets confused, he says. Not our problem. She mentions the name. The dead foreman. Ferris does not look up. Clerical error. Happens all the time. She leaves it on his desk. The powder shipment arrives 6 days later. It is unloaded onto 3 wagons. The men driving them do not speak to anyone. They are not local. They wear no company marks. They take the crates north toward the hills and disappear. Alma watches from the station window. She writes down the date and the direction. 2 weeks pass. A rancher named Calhoun comes into the station looking for a delayed order of fencing wire. Alma checks the logs. The wire was diverted. No explanation. Calhoun is annoyed but not surprised. Happens more lately, he says. Things go missing. No one knows why. Alma asks if he has seen strangers near the North Pass. He has men on horseback, wagons with covered loads. No one stops them because no one knows what they are hauling or why. She goes back to the logs. She pulls records from the last 6 months. 4 shipments of powder, 2 of rail spikes, 1 of surveying tools. All ordered under false names or debt accounts. All routed to places that do not exist or are no longer active. She takes the records to the town council meeting the following week. The meeting is held in the back room of the saloon. 8 men attend. Ferris is there. So is the saloon owner, the livery boss, and a few property holders. Alma is allowed to sit in the corner. She is not expected to speak. She stands anyway. She lays out the logs. She explains the pattern. False orders. Misrouted goods. The powder. The tools. The men in the hills. One of the councilmen laughs. Another shakes his head. You think someone's planning something? The saloon owner says. With what? Blasting powder and a few spikes? They could be building, Alma says. Or preparing to destroy something. Like what? The rails, the bridge, the station. Ferris leans back in his chair. You're making this story out of paperwork, Alma. This is clerical mess, not conspiracy. Then why are the names fake? Why are the shipments going north? Because someone's lazy with a ledger. Or because a crew bought supplies and didn't file right. It happens. She presses. She asks why no one has checked. Why no one has ridden out to see what is happening in the hills. Because we have work to do, one of the ranchers says. And you're wasting time. The council moves on. Her concerns are noted. Nothing is done. 3 days later, a freight clerk from Laramie arrives on the morning train. He asks Alma for the records on the powder shipments. She shows him what she has. He goes pale. "This was flagged 2 weeks ago," he says. "We sent a rider to ask about it." "Did he come through?" "No. The clerk leaves on the next train." He does not say why the powder was flagged. But Alma sees the fear in his face. She goes to Ferris again. She tells him what the clerk said. Ferris tells her to stop looking for trouble. That night, she hears horses outside the station. She stays in her room above the office. She listens, voices, low and deliberate. The sound of boots on the platform. Then silence. In the morning, the lock on the freight shed has been broken. 2 crates of rifle cartridges are missing. They were not logged. Alma does not know when they arrived. She decides to ride north. She takes her husband's horse and a canteen. She tells no one. She follows the wagon tracks from the station into the hills. The trail is clear for the first few miles. Then it splits. She follows the heavier ruts. By midday, she reaches a clearing near a dry creek bed. There are wagon marks, boot prints, evidence of a camp. She finds empty crates stamped with railway depot seals. She finds tools. A surveying chain, a level, a coil of fuse wire. She hears voices before she sees them. She dismounts and leads the horse into the trees. She moves closer. 3 men are working near the base of a rock shelf. They are drilling into stone, setting charges. She recognizes the setup. It is the same method used to clear rail beds. She watches for 10 minutes. Then she turns back. She returns to town just after dark. She goes straight to the saloon. The council is not meeting, but most of them are there. She walks in covered in dust. She does not wait for permission. "There are men in the hills," she says. "They are setting charges near the North Pass. They have powder, tools, and fuses. They are planning to bring down the rock shelf." The room goes quiet. Then someone laughs. "You rode out there alone?" Ferris says. "To spy on workers?" "They are not workers. They have no company marks, no permits. They are using stolen goods, or goods they bought and you misread. I saw the setup. They are preparing to collapse the pass. Why would anyone do that? To block the rails, to cut off the town, to force the railroad to reroute or pay." One of the ranchers leans forward. "You think this is some kind of holdup?" "I think someone is being paid to make sure the trains stop coming through Ridgeway." "That's insane," the saloon owner says. "Who would pay for that?" Alma does not have an answer, but she knows what she saw. The council dismisses her again. Ferris warns her not to spread panic. She's told to go home. 2 nights later, the rider from Laramie is found dead 3 miles outside town. His horse is gone. His saddlebag is empty. A rancher discovers the body at dawn and brings it in. The town gathers. There is no marshal. No law. The council meets in the street. They argue about what to do. Some want to send for help. Others want to organize a group to ride north. Alma stands in the crowd. She does not say anything. She does not need to. Ferris looks at her. His expression has changed. "You said charges," he says quietly. "How many?" "Enough to bring down the shelf. Maybe more. When? I don't know. But they were almost finished." The saloon owner swears under his breath. "If they blow the pass, the railroad will reroute south. We lose the station. We lose everything." One of the ranchers steps forward. "Then we ride out. Now, we stop them." Ferris shakes his head. "We don't know how many there are. We don't know if they're armed. If we spook them, they might set it off early," Alma speaks. "They will not set it off until the train is close. They want the railroad to see it. To make it public. How do you know? Because collapsing an empty pass does nothing. They need the railroad to believe the line is unsafe. They need witnesses." The councilmen look at each other. One of them asks when the next train is due. Alma answers. "Tomorrow, noon." The town organizes in the hours before dawn. 12 men. Alma insists on going. Ferris tries to refuse. She reminds him she is the only one who knows exactly where the charges are set. They ride out in 2 groups. Alma leads the first. They reach the clearing by mid-morning. The camp is still there. 4 men. They are waiting near the charges. One holds a pocket watch. Another smokes and watches the southern horizon. Ferris signals. The group spreads out. They move quietly. Alma stays near the back. She is not armed. She is there to identify the setup and confirm what needs to be dismantled. One of the ranchers moves too quickly. A stone shifts. The men at the camp turn. There is no negotiation. The man with the watch pulls a revolver. The rancher dives behind a tree. Shots are fired. The sound echoes across the hills. The group returns fire. 2 of the men at the camp go down. The 3rd runs. The 4th stays near the charges. He is holding the fuse wire. He kneels and strikes a match. Alma does not think. She runs. She crosses the clearing. The man sees her. He hesitates. She reaches him before the match touches the fuse. She kicks his hand. The match falls. He swings at her. She stumbles back. One of the ranchers tackles him from the side. The fuse wire is pulled free. The charges are safe. The man is tied and questioned. He does not say much. But he admits he was hired. He does not know by whom. He was paid to disable the pass and disappear. The others were the same. Hired men, no loyalty. No connection to the town. The group dismantles the charges. They load the powder onto the wagons and take it back to Ridgeway. The man is held in the livery until the next train arrives. He is handed over to a railroad investigator who comes down from Laramie. The investigator confirms what Alma suspected. The railroad had been receiving complaints, anonymous letters, reports of unsafe conditions. Someone was trying to force a reroute. The investigator does not know who, but the railroad had flagged the powder shipments. That is why the clerk came. The town is quiet in the days after. The trains keep running. The station remains. Alma returns to her work. The freight logs pile up. The ranchers come and go. No one makes speeches. No one apologizes. But things shift. When she speaks at council meetings now, the room listens. When she flags an issue, Ferris checks it. When she walks into the saloon, men nod. She does not ask for recognition. She does not need it. She knows what she saw. She knows what she stopped. That is enough. Voices ignored can be the ones that save lives. Courage is not loud. It is consistent. Respect is earned through action, not permission. Alma Pruitt signs off on another shipment and watches the afternoon train pull away from the platform. The rails stretch north into the hills. The pass is still standing. She closes the ledger and goes back to work.